We are coming together today for a special teaching by Dzogchen Ponlop Rinpoche. And now, to introduce today's speaker, please welcome Tergar instructor and executive director, Cortland Dahl. Hi,
Thank
Cortland.
you. Hey, Beth. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It is a true delight and honor to be able to introduce Dzogchen Ponlop Rinpoche. He's been one of my own most important teachers. I'm sure many of you listening have the same experience. Hello, Rinpoche. And so it's really just an honor and a delight to have you with us, Rinpoche. And we're delighted to welcome you to speak to the Tergar community. So for those of you who don't know Rinpoche, I'm sure many of you already know of Rinpoche, or hopefully you've been lucky enough to receive teachings from him. He's really one of the most important and leading meditation teachers and scholars of his generation. He was trained by some of the most remarkable and renowned meditation masters of the 20th century, teachers like His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, Khenpo Totram Gyamtso Rinpoche. So he really was a close student and was able to receive some of the most important lineages of the Tibetan tradition. He also is the author of many books. Some of you might have read Emotional Rescue, Rebel Buddha, or if you're in the Tergar community, we've studied Mind Beyond Death, has figured very prominently in our exploration of the Bardo teachings. So we have studied his teachings extensively within the Tergar community. And then you might also know that he is the founder and the guide for both the Nitartha Institute and the Nalanda Bodhi community. And these are really two of the leading communities and organizations that are maintaining the Tibetan tradition and helping to keep these teachings alive in the modern world. And perhaps most importantly for today, he is an incredibly gifted teacher of Buddhism more generally, but specifically these Mahamudra teachings that are the very beating heart of the entire lineage that he represents. So it's just a true gift to be able to hear a bit about the essence of these teachings today. And I wanted to also welcome Tyler Dewar. Tyler has been Rinpoche's translator and a translator for, I think, nearly 25 years for the Nalanda Bodhi community and for Rinpoche. He's a gifted scholar, of course, a gifted translator. He quite unfairly manages to somehow play the guitar and is a gifted musician when he when he teaches and translates. And he's also one of the senior teachers for the Nalanda Bodhi community. So Tyler, a great gift to have you with us as well. So Rinpoche, welcome again. We are so thrilled to have you with us. It's a great honor, and we would love to hear from you about these precious teachings of Mahamudra. And oh, I just realized I forgot to welcome Stephanie. So before we begin, we we have some opening chants. I was so excited that I forgot a whole step here. Stephanie Wagner is our gifted Umze, our chant leader. We're going to start with a few opening chants before we get going. So Stephanie, thank you for joining in, and please lead us in the opening chants.
Thank you, Cord. I was just going to butt in. So, welcome everybody. We're going to do some opening chants here. And I realize from the poll that there are folks maybe that are not familiar with the chants. So, the invitation here is to just participate in whatever way you feel comfortable. If these chants are new to you, you might just choose to rest your mind and open awareness. Or if you want to give it a try, we're going to be chanting in Tibetan and in your own language. So please just participate as you feel comfortable. We'll start with refuge and bodhicitta, twice in Tibetan, once in your own language. Sangye chudang soki choknam la. Janchu pardu dagni kyapsu chi daki jinsu ki pesu nam ki drola pinchir sange druparsho Sangye chudang soki chok nam la Jangchu paradu dagni kyapsu chi Daki jinso ki pe sunam ki Drola pinchir sange druparasho. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until enlightenment is achieved. May the merit of my generosity and other virtuous deeds lead to Buddhahood for the welfare of all beings. The Four Immeasurables, twice in Tibetan, once in your own language. Sem chen tam chere wadang, dewe gyudang den pater gyurchig, dung nella gi, gyudang dro water gyurchig, dung nella me pede wadam padang mindro water gyurchig, ni ring chak dang ni dang dro we tang yon chimpo la ne pater gyur chik sem chen tam chere wadang de we gyu dang den pater gyur chik dung nella gi gyu dang dro water gyur chik dung nella me pede wadam padang mindral water gyur chik ni ring chak dang ni dang dro we tang yom chimpo la ne pater gyur chik. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from sublime bliss, free from suffering. May they dwell in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. Mandala offering, once in Tibetan and once in your own language. Sashi puchun shukshing me tok tram, ri rapling jini degem padi, Sangye jingdu mikte poayi, drukun nam dak shing la shukparasho. Sprinkling the earth with perfume and strewing it with flowers, adorning it with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and moon. I imagine this as a Buddha realm and offer it, so all beings may enjoy this pure realm. Prayer to turn the wheel of Dharma. Sem chen nam ki sampadang, lo yi je trak shi tarawar, che chun tun mong tek pa yi, Shuki korlo kordu sol. In harmony with the different wishes and mindsets of sentient beings, please turn the wheel of Dharma of the common, great, and lesser vehicles.
Dusum sangye tam jen jen ho, ridang jen kor jam jen chabda. Kajin zongba me ba bandan lama dambe shampion do, jama me ba la go rap to tude. Kimbe jonzo shin jam sun chu, jawa ne zarap tam jet, dawa me baran je so song to so. Bandin dorji jama rekun jamda lama karman ba, kengor kunjin chung ne si shi ba juri yedam lan jurma. Tenle kunji je bo wang jur jo jong ber jin jam zha la, nan jur ze je kwe ben de, zhan me do je jong wa ran zi. Gang jin shen do tab din rin bo je, nin che sa don zhen bei shin da wa, shi wa co dang co ji lang ma so, pa pe ke mang co la je do ge. Ondun tsawe lama rinpoche dagi jiwara bende densho la garin chenpe gane jesonde. Kusung doji nga zho zal do zo kanta shukchu dongin chikden na deshi lamar jirwa kansu da. Tengder tenpe chuchi charan bemna semparante pa tam chindir she. Good moment to everyone. And thank you very much for Tergar community for inviting me to be here today and speak on Ganges Mahamudra. I'm not sure why you need me to speak here when you have such an excellent teacher, Jebji Yonggi Minjurumchi. So I think maybe you need me here to kill time for this year-long course on Mahamudra or something like that. Because in terms of teacher, I'm sure you don't need, because you have such an excellent teacher there. Can't ask for anything better. But however, since I'm here, I will, we will spend 1 hour here together. So let's kill our time. What shall we talk about? Any ideas? No? Okay. Mahamudra, I think you have heard so many times. And I think sometimes, our Western students and Southeast Asian students, you guys have heard more about Mahamudra than us Tibetans. So I think you know much more than what need to be explained here, theoretically speaking. I think there's nothing more to talk about it. But once again, just to kill the time here, the Mahamudra, the most important thing in Vajrayana in general, especially in Mahamudra and Dzogchen, is the lineage. And so therefore, lineage of Mahamudra, of course, we trace back to the Buddha, Shakyamuni. And from the Buddha Shakyamuni to the Bodhisattvas, such as Kasadi.
There are two bodhisattvas.
Correct.
Dewe Gumbo. Lasso? There is one bodhisattva named Sukhanata.
Yeah, so from the Buddha to bodhisattvas such as Sukhanata, of course, many bodhisattvas like Vajrapani, Manjushri, Maitreya, and then anyway, from Sukhanata, and Sukhanata, and there's one more, there's two, Sukhanata and Lotu Rinchen.
Ratnamati.
From these two bodhisattvas, came down to the great Brahmin Saraha, right? I think you all know Saraha. And Saraha is regarded as the
Lasso? Saraha is known as the originator or the origination point of all of the beings who are in the Vajrayana tradition referred to as siddhas or mahasiddhas, the great accomplished ones.
Yes. So he is the root, the beginning there. So Saraha to Shavaripa, right? The great Indian master Shavaripa. Oh, sorry, I skipped one. From Saraha to great Indian master Nagarjuna. I think we all know Nagarjuna, the founder of the middle way school or Madhyamaka. And from Nagarjuna, it comes down to Shavaripa. Shavaripa. No, Saraha, Nagarjuna, Shavaripa was a, how do you call it? I think in the West, you may call it gypsy family. He and his partners, they were just traveling around India, singing and dancing and living on that. And they end up at Nalanda University, where they were singing and dancing for a long time. And then Nagarjuna heard that and said, come in. And they were so surprised because Shavaripa came from like a, low caste in India. The low caste people are not invited inside. And so they were surprised and they came inside to Nagarjuna's room. And then the Nagarjuna asked him and said, do you want to learn more songs, like Doha songs? Do you want to sing? They said, yes. So Nagarjuna gave them some Saraha song. And then they suddenly, Kasure, Lamsan Tarana, Topacho, near as a shadow.
It is said in the legends that at that very time, that Shavaripa experienced direct realization of Mahamudra.
And Konge, Ludwig Tolayang, Chansim, and Deyan Gumbo, Javares, Tananglia.
Lasso? And it is said that in that magical moment, he had a pure vision, a direct sacred encounter with the Bodhisattva Sukhanata in the presence of Nagarjuna.
Yes. Believe it or not. Right? So then from Shavaripa, it came down to Maitripa. Right? Maitripa. That's a direct line. And then also from Shavaripa, it went to Telopa indirectly through two other masters. So I will not go through all the names. So Shavaripa to Telopa also through two other masters, Mahasiddhas. And from Shavaripa to Maitripa directly. And then from Maitripa to Marpa, the great translator from Tibet. And then Marpa to the great yogi of our time, Milarepa. And then Milarepa to Gampopa, Milarepa to Gampopa, and then Gampopa to the first Karmapa, Tusum Kimpa. And then that's our lineage here, from Karmapa, all the way down to our teachers. And then from Gampopa also went to Pamudrupa, and from Pamudrupa went to all the other schools of Kagyu, lineages, Drupa, and so on. So that's the Mahamudra lineage. Okay, very important for us here. And so the question here sometimes is that, Mahamudra, we talk about, the key teachings in Mahamudra is the nature of mind, right? Nature of mind or the essence of mind. And so many times people think that these teachings come from these Indian Mahasiddhas maybe, but mostly from Tibetan teachers, right? Like Marpa, Milarepa, Gampopa especially. From Gampopa, so many Mahamudra and nature of mind and things like that. But sometimes people doubt, where are your sources in the sutras and tantras and so forth and so on? So I would like to show you some sutra quotes. Okay. Let me see. Can you see now? Can everybody see? Maybe one of our Tergar staffs can.
Yes, yes, we can see. Thanks.
Great. All right. So here you can see very clearly in the Prajna Paramita Sutra, Buddha said, Sangeles Shudwa, Chomdendalo, Chadanda Sharan Doadi Pindication Soltos, Zumba Chomdende, Semti Simni de Kangla Shudwa.
Lao. So the quotation starts with the Venerable Shariputra addressing the Buddha with a question. And Shariputra said to the Buddha, Honorable Bhagavan, what is the mind itself of mind?
Yes. Maradu Chachinji Kapsu Simni Layer Chik.
Lasso. So here we encounter this term, mind itself, which is semnit in Tibetan. And we also encounter this term a lot in the context of the Mahamudra teachings.
Right? We say, co-emergent mind itself.
Co-emergent mind itself.
Co-emergent mind itself is Dharmakaya, right? Do you remember that line?
Co-emergent mind itself is Dharmakaya.
Co-emergent mind itself is Dharmakaya. So such word, you can see the root of that comes from the sutra, Prajnaparamita Sutra here. Among Prajnaparamita Sutra, this is coming from 10,000 lines, right? Prajnaparamita Sutra here. So he's asking, what is the mind itself? Then the Buddha answered, saying, Shariputra, that which is the changeless and freedom from conceptuality of all phenomena is what is known as the mind itself, of mind. Right? There's two things. Mind itself, of mind, right? Very important here to distinguish between these two. Mind itself referring to the nature, what we call nature. And mind is because of that nature.
The bearer of that nature. Or that we can say the basis of that nature.
So you can see in this line of the Buddha's teaching here, number tokpa meba kanyin batene semji semni che jawse tinandu chakje chenpe tun ben masake sabu song yod.
we can see that the instructions of Mahamudra, the reality of Mahamudra itself, is very clearly indicated in the Buddha's words here when he says, that which is the changelessness and freedom from conceptuality of all phenomena is what is known as the mind itself of mind.
So, that which is changeless, right? The nature of mind never changes. No matter what the mind goes through, right? No matter what you call environment, what experiences that our mind goes through, but the nature of that, or the mind itself, does not change. It never changes. And that nature itself has always been free, right? Our mind's nature is free from the outset. It doesn't need to be freed by any other agent, right? That's the problem here. When we try to free it by any other agent, you're making it more, how do you say, more bound. Do you know? Like sometimes when you have like handcuff or whatever, when you try to free, sometimes it becomes
Just making it tighter and tighter.
yes. But Buddha says it's changeless and free from beginning. And it has to be, the nature of mind is free from conceptuality. Okay, conceptuality. This is very important here. In Mahamudra teachings, what we call amanasikara, amanasikara, which now like many scholars and teachers contribute that to Maitripa, of course. Maitripa taught that a lot. But this amanasikara, in this idea teaching comes from the Buddha and all the way goes back to Saraha, right? Saraha. And then comes down to Nagarjuna, Shavaripa. You can see like Telopa's teaching in Ganges Mahamudra, you can see that. And so free from conceptuality is showing amanasikara, you see. In Tibetan, we call it Yila Michipa.
Freedom from mental engagement or mental non-engagement.
Mental non-engagement, is that oxymoron? Is it? Mental non-engagement. Mental means engagement, right?
Yes, Rinpoche. Freedom from mental engagement is perhaps the more commonly used term.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we can see the meaning, what it means. Mm-hmm. If you can imagine anything conceptually, or if you can measure anything, by mind's activity, not mind itself, mind's activity, that is not Mahamudra. So anyway, in this quote, it's very clear, it's very profound. This shows the Mahamudra teaching here. You can see how it's hidden in a way. How do you say it? Yeah. You can see here, it's kind of like open secret. Open secret. It's in the sutra, it's very clearly there, but you don't see it until you get the Upanishads. And so, anyway, so that's what we have there, one sutra quote, right? Yeah, okay. Then the second quote here we have, no, not this one. Let me see. this quotation 7 here. Yeah, you can see. Can you see it? Okay. Again, it's from sutra here, called the jewel box sutra, is it?
Yes, Rinpoche.
Kunchu samato. Vale. Box like this. Satan
La re-
sharing do. Simji rere can kanke nungi chamaji mege lengoban dushi simji rangchen namen nyom medos on it.
And this sutra says, Venerable Shariputra, even if every sentient being were to engage in the formations of non-virtuous actions equal in number to the sands of the river Ganges, the nature of their minds would nonetheless never become afflicted.
Right? So that is very clear here. So when Buddha says in the earlier quote, changeless, right? So what is changeless is taught very clearly here. That you can see that whatever, what you call, whatever environment we go through, conditioning that we experience in this world, our mind goes through happy moment, sad moment, virtuous, non-virtuous, what have you, but the nature of mind or the mind itself never changes, right? Never changes. Got it. Got it. Chingwa. Right? 로브르기健康等这样 되게 쌤青蛙也용게 매어래도 되는 될래도 저 그거야 매어는 아마 얘네 조사오래도 대성도
Listen.
영화면서
Whatever fleeting conditions come into the picture, they do not bind the true nature of mind. And since they never have bound the true nature of mind from the very beginning, therefore, the mind does not need to be liberated from any bondage because it has been liberated from the outset. And for this reason, the nature of mind, or mind itself, is described as being changeless.
Yes. And you can see here that correct, any fleeting condition, right, is kind of disturbing, but most disturbing one is you can see here, engaging in formations of non-virtuous actions equal in number to the sands of the river Ganges. Can you imagine that? Equal to the grains of number of grains of sands in the Ganges River. That's a lot of negativities. Oh my God. That's worse than our American serial killers. A lot of negativities, right? But still, Buddha says the nature of the mind would nonetheless never become afflicted, means defiled, right? We talk about two defilements. One is the defilement of affliction, and the other one is the defilement to knowledge. Yeah, never going to be afflicted. That's amazing, right? That's amazing. That is what we talk about in Mahamudra, the nature of mind. Nature of mind is always free and always pure, right from the beginning, right? Alpha pure. Dzogchen, we say alpha pure. 비유성정 대대비 쌤지 랑신 달라 가르쳐야지는 안주 다만지 셔봐서 라이어로 봐. 자기 침묵 없어.
Therefore, in the context of the Mahamudra teachings, this type of true nature of mind is called ordinary mind.
Yes. Ordinary minds like that.
It's called ordinary mind here.
ordinary mind. 对吧？And so, ordinary mind, as you can see, why we chose that, why the Mahamudra masters chose that word, why Buddha taught in that way. It's to show you and to see the, what do you call, unfabricated state of mind, just ordinary,
Uncontrived.
Yeah, uncontrived. As we can see, what we are looking for is something special, isn't it? We're not looking for ordinary mind. We're looking for special mind, or Dharmakaya. Call whatever, Ordinary mind, no, I have that every day. I want something different. Oh yeah, that's different. You can never find. That's the whole point of Mahamudra here, right? Ordinary mind means the nature of mind here, right here, now, right? Whatever we are experiencing, right? Whether we are experiencing a moment of thought that is very challenging, struggling, or whether we're experiencing a moment of thought that is, blissful, joyful, right? Whether you're experiencing joyful living or sorrowful living, they're both at the end not different in the nature of ordinary mind. So ordinary mind is the what you call the nature of this momentary mind now. Uncontrived, momentary nature of our mind now. In that ordinary mind, the ordinary mind actually is taught by the great, the Karmapa, great master, the third Karmapa Rangjung Dorji. He said, Tamal Shepan Dingi la, Chuing Gawe Ningbo Sar. Tamal Shepan Dingi la, Chuing Gawe Ningbo Sars.
Lasso? The third Karmapa said, this very ordinary mind is called the Dharma Dhatu, the essence of the victorious ones.
Yeah, the essence of the Buddha. So, Tisondu, Tamaji Shepase, Tarchi, Semjin Nelukam, Semjin Mo, Semji Semnit, Marjuba. Dini Karishadi Yorsna, the Chuji Insinan Tare, the Javi Ningbu, the worship Ningbu Sanante Chagi or the Chaka Chimbo, Zopa Chimbo Karsanante Chag, or Machimbo.
So this very ordinary mind, this very true nature of mind, or essence of mind, or mind itself of mind, uncontrived, not altered.
Sorry. Yeah.
This very nature of mind of the present, of now, this itself is what we call Dharma Dhatu. It is what we call the essence of the victorious ones, or Buddha nature, Sugata Garbha. It is what we call Mahamudra, Dzogchen, the great middle way.
오, 이 다다르지 셈지 내로 sana 다다르지 셈지 랑신 심리 셈지 오 네 랑ken 낭도 계획이 닝부 상지 지신 달라랑 요래 상지 셋 달라랑 쇼 요래 마도 델레 셴도 셈 직분 델레 셴도 상지 셋지 타마지 셰베기 셈 델레 셴도 상지 셋지 천나 니 요래서 니 매버도
The true nature of this very mind of the present, the mind itself of this very mind of the present, the essence of this very mind of the present, is all by itself the essence of the victorious ones. That is the Buddha nature. And this Buddha nature resides or abides as the true nature of the very present moment of mind, and it can't be found anywhere else other than that. If we go searching for it somewhere else, somewhere other than the very present moment of mind, we could do that, but if you ask, will I be able to find it? The answer is no, you will not be able to find it. You will not be able to find the true nature of mind, this wisdom of Buddha, anywhere else than the very present moment of this very mind.
Oh, that one, like that, you know. You may think, oh yes, Tibetan teachers always say that. Mahamudra teachers always say that. Dzogchen teachers always say that. But did Buddha say that? Yes, right here. You have that in this sutra called King of Genuine Dharma Sutra. 담비 추지 저보 택받침 분도 세지.
The King of Genuine Dharma Sutra.
대낭도 가르송도 단단단도. 대응 세븐도.
And so this point about not needing to look elsewhere for the wisdom of Buddhahood is made very clearly in this quotation. Buddha says, within the singular essence of Buddha is none other than the singular essence of mind. Buddha is not to be searched for separately, in some domain apart from mind alone.
Very clear here, right? You know, the singular essence of mind. Within that, there's the singular essence of the Buddha. Buddha is not to be searched or found separately outside of that. You know. Oh, this on the and this ever should I go and the caps on the day. Changchen Dzogchen caps top song there in Delaran Yore.
And so we can see clearly that this point of not needing to look anywhere else but the present moment of your own mind for the wisdom of Buddhahood, the point that is made so strongly and frequently in the Mahamudra and Dzogchen teachings, we see that this point traces back to the teachings of Buddha and is being very clearly articulated by the Buddha himself here.
We use the word ordinary mind. Mind is nature, looking at mind, right? Looking at the mind's nature. Then others say, same gomne sangje kan talk with us. Namdo gomne sangje kan talk with us. Then shenge mambu yor.
There are a lot of people who ask, well, how can it be that meditating on mind will lead to Buddhahood? How can it be that meditating on thoughts will lead to awakening? How can you say that?
장생긴 남도 죽으신 송요를. 데려야 시라 가와자요.
So on the one hand, we have the Mahamudra instructions that say the essence of thoughts is Dharmakaya. And on the other hand, there are many individuals throughout the years who have tried to refute that point, to refute the validity of that statement.
Yes. 남도 간다서 죽어요. 쌤 남도 간다서 쌤 돈나 예시 간다서 또 그래. 남도 돈 예시 간다서 통해서 시라 가와자요.
Lasso. And these individuals who refute this point, they say things like, how could you posit thoughts as the Dharmakaya? How could you say that meditating on thoughts leads to wisdom, meditating on mind leads to the wisdom of Buddhahood?
Yes.
And in this way, they try to refute this point of the Mahamudra tradition.
The answer is here from the Buddha's Sutra on wisdom for the time of death. Sem tongna yeshi yinba na sangji shintu mizu wendu shirab to gumbar chao swan.
Since if one realizes mind, that is wisdom, excellently meditate upon the outlook of not searching for Buddhahood elsewhere.
Very clear, isn't it? It's very nice teachings from the Buddha here on Mahamudra. Saying that, Buddha taught very clearly here, if one realizes the mind, that is wisdom there. When you realize the mind, you find the wisdom. When you know your mind well, when you know the nature of mind well, the wisdom is right there. So that's where we need to meditate upon. And we must become, how do you say? We must develop this sense of understanding and habit of not looking, not searching for Buddhahood elsewhere. That's basically what Mahamudra practices, right? That's one of the main practice here, not looking elsewhere. And Buddha said here, 가전디 탈이야, 가전디 상지지 송인도 너희랑도 르위나래 가리는 된적이 받아를 즉지요. 데 가서 주돔, 다 강나 망보 송자도 참아 주돔네 탈이야, 즉지게 줘도 송한 된적이 녹수요. 대나도 가서 쌤네 예신 중은 주 상지 현도 마수직 송한데 가.
That's all. And so we see here an ellipse indicated in the quotation of the sutra. And what's happening with that is that it's very traditional format of the sutras for the Buddha to give a discourse and then for a later section or chapter sometimes of the sutra to include the Buddha summarizing the points he had made above, but in the form of verse. So the quotation we see here on the screen contains an excerpt from that verse form summary spoken by the Buddha. And in that, the Buddha says, Mind is the cause for the arising of wisdom. Do not search for Buddhahood elsewhere.
Yes. And that is very beautiful teaching here. 다부름 챙기 단다가는데 메달레베기 다부름 챙기야. 근데 뭐 주던 당만나 가서요. 근데 semleishendu sangje tsowani kare. semleishendu sangje tsowani geji norso dang rade yubatun ba lajiwa sungsungane.
Lhasa?
semleishendu semle kutna sangje tsowani.
Lhasa? The Lord of Yogins Milarepa, when pointing out instructions or transmission to the Lord of Dharma Gampopa, said, searching for Buddhahood outside the domain of mind is like the wrestler searching for his jewel. Pay heed to this, O doctor, teacher from central Tibet.
Yes, Gampopa was a doctor before. That's why. So many times the teachings are clear, but examples are very complicated. So this is one of them. Tati jeji norso ki pedi chana nyung chi sheda. Mambu shego no. Tabu je kuju koya ji sheruchi.
Lhasa.
Tanga mambu shetsare.
Lhasa. So again, the quotation says, searching for Buddhahood outside the domain of mind is like the wrestler searching for his jewel. And that goes back to a classical tale, a classical Indian cultural tale of a wrestler who apparently it was the tradition for in ancient days for Indian wrestlers to wear a jewel near the crown of their head that they had kind of fixed up there with cloth and so forth. And so what happened one time was that there was a great champion wrestler who was engaged in a wrestling match, a very, very vigorous wrestling match. And during the course of the bout, the jewel had become lodged in a wound in the wrestler's forehead. But afterward, after the fight was over, the wrestler was looking all over the place for his jewel, saying, "Where's my jewel? Where's my jewel? Is it over here? Is it over there? Did it fall off during the fight? Where did it fall?" So he was looking to and fro, really urgently. But at the end, yes. Lasso. So sometimes you might have the experience of looking for your glasses or sunglasses all over the place and then coming to realize at the end of looking that they were on the top of your head the whole time. So like that, the wrestler was looking to and fro for his jewel, but then someone pointed out to him, "Oh, I think the jewel is embedded inside the wound in your forehead." So the jewel had been on his person the whole time. And he had then discovered that looking for the jewel on the outside, looking elsewhere for the jewel continually was just a waste of effort, that the jewel was within himself. Lasso. So that's the meaning of the example here. And so if we're someone who can understand the example, then the example can become a very profound illustration of the actual point that's being made by the Lord Milarepa here.
Yes. I have a student who was who was to meet his friend, and he was late. And so he was calling him, his student, to say, sorry, he was calling his friend to say that he's going to be late because he cannot find his phone. And then the other person says, aren't you calling from your cell phone? He said, yes. Oh, there's your phone there. Yes. So it's like that, right? Sometimes you're looking for something, but it's actually here, right here with you, but you're looking outside everywhere. Cannot find, so you call your friend, say you're going to be late because you can't find your phone, cell phone. So it's like that, I think. Yes. And that 가르 대난 두송송 쌤 쌤을 시험도 상지 초에 매송 쌤 동네 예시 인송도
Also, and so the point being articulated by Buddha in his quotation is that if we realize mind, if we realize our mind, that itself is enlightened wisdom. That itself is the wisdom of awakening. And therefore, the instruction is, do not search for Buddhahood elsewhere.
So when you realize that nature of mind, when you see your mind, the Buddha mind, then it's like lighting a torch in the darkness, right? It's like a torch in the darkness. Dzogchen, Mahamudra, we always talk about that. No matter how long the darkness has been there, how many aeons, but in that very moment when you light a torch,
even darkness that had been gathered for eons will be dispelled in one single instant.
Yes.
And so this point, so this point is made in the Buddha's quotation here, which says, mind does not produce mind, nor does mind cause mind to cease. Thus is the essential nature of mind. It is like and so what the Buddha is getting at with these words here, with these initial words here, is the encouragement to not try to change our mind in meditation, to not try to fabricate or fix our mind. So the deeper point behind the phrase, mind does not produce mind, is the instruction, do not follow after thoughts. And then the quotation says, nor does mind cause mind to cease. And the deeper instruction behind that is the instruction to not try to block our thoughts. Lasso? So we can't use our mind to generate a certain state of mind, and we can't use our mind to block off a certain state of mind. So therefore, what do we do with our mind? We simply allow our mind to settle naturally.
Yes.
And if we allow our mind to naturally settle, then the essence of mind will begin to clearly emerge. And so, the remainder of the quotation says, it is like this. For example, if a person were searching for a container in the darkness and lit a sesame oil lamp, the light of that lamp would render the container visible, and other containers would become visible as well.
Yes. So what does this show? It shows that when you see the nature of your mind, it's not only you see one thing. Like when you torch a light to see one container, you not only see one, but you see everything. In the same way, you see one nature of mind that will open your eyes to see the nature of all phenomena. You know, that's what this means. And that is also reflected in the great master Aryan Deva's writing, Nagarjuna's chief disciple, Aryan Deva. He said, the seer
Lare?
the seer of one, chiki tabu kayam ba tene kunji tabu is.
Baso?
Chiki toni kayam ba tene kunji toni is.
Aryadeva said, whatever is the seer of one, that is the seer of all. Whatever is the emptiness of one, that is the emptiness of all.
Yes. You know, there's no differences in the nature, such as emptiness of the cup versus the emptiness of the mountain. You know, emptiness of you versus emptiness of me. No such thing. There's a one emptiness, right? The nature is same, emptiness. So when you see one, when you see the nature of one thing precisely and clearly, that will allow you to see the nature of all phenomena. That's why seeing the nature of mind is sufficient, right? Practicing the nature of mind is sufficient, because when you penetrate that, when you see that, then you see and penetrate everything. Yeah, so this quotation comes from Sutra on the perfection of infinite, precious,
Sutra Pitakas.
on the extensive wisdom of the Bhagavan. Wow, that's a long name. For a moment, I thought I'm reading a sentence or something. So anyway, there you go. The Sutra quotations. Therefore, when you look at these quotations, you can see the root of the Mahamudra teachings. We trace all the way back to the Buddha Shakyamuni himself. Not only that, Gampopa said that the Mahamudra teachings of our lineage, it comes from the sutras such as Samadhi Raja Sutra. And you can see so many sutras in the Prajna Paramita as well today. We looked at these quotations. These are just some, how do you say,
Just a representative sampling of the Mahamudra instructions as embodied within the sutras.
Yes. Ta jen sangbu chungna yang semre, jen ngenpa chungna yang semre.
If a positive condition arises, that positive condition is mind. If a negative condition arises, that negative condition is also mind.
Yes. Amche semji chonnang la raligdwa.
It all depends upon the affective states of our mind, the sensations and perceptions of our mind?
All depends on that. Depends on how our mind handles that situation, right? Based on the affective, what did you say?
Affective states.
Based on the affective states and the sensations, feelings, at the end, it has nothing to do with what's going on there, actually. But we think, the conditions making differences. Yes, they do make differences to some degree, but if you really think, at the end, it's actually the
All dependent on the subjective states of our mind.
Yes. Subjective states of our mind, yes. One time I was at some conference, Buddhist conference, and one of my friends told this story, which I really feel very wonderful story. She told us the story, one of the teachers, American Buddhist teacher. She said, there are two couples walking at the beach. One couple was going through a hard time in their relationship, so they were walking along the beach to kind of figure out. And then they end up in a restaurant, sat down and ordered their food. And there's another couple, new love. Love is in the air. So they have this kind of very, beautiful time, and everything is so beautiful, right? The others may be seeing everything a little bit, what do you call, gloomy, and so melancholic. Anyway, they both ended up in the restaurant, maybe same restaurant. And then the guy ordered a soup and the lady ordered a salad. And then the man started eating his soup with fork. They both are doing that, two couples. And the couple who are having a little difficult time, that his partner thought, oh, yes, what a jerk. Who eats, who eats soup with a fork? So that kind of confirmed that partner's mind, difficult time. And then the other couple who's like new lovers, the guy's drinking soup with a fork, and then the lady thought, wow, what a special. So cute. You're so cute. You drink soup with a fork always. So you can see, it's all subjective, isn't it? Subjective. What irritates your mind? Someone drinking soup with a fork. For me, that's irritating all the time. Just kidding. Right? Someone drinking soup with a fork. Oh, it depends on your mind state. Then similar
This story is a really excellent point that illustrates how everything depends on the dominant subjective state of our mind.
I think, Tyler, you're dissolving into the light of Mahamudra or something.
Yes.
Are you in a tanning salon? Oh, okay, that's better. No, I'm just kidding. That was a good one. I like that. Why didn't you change? Mahamudra says just leave it as it is. This on the similar rally at the service,
So everything does depend upon our mind and our subjective state of mind. And we can see this very clearly if we consider the point well.
Second Kashima mania meeting in our
Lasso. Lasso. So, for example, we can see sometimes when people get into car accidents that in their memory and in their experience of that particular moment, everything is slowed down. So everything that occurred over the course of what would conventionally be labeled a couple of seconds, in this person's experience, it's slowed down so they can see every minute detail and stage of what happened in a very kind of zoomed in way. But for most people in their ordinary experience, when they're driving their car, the same amount of time could elapse, and they would really not notice anything in particular about those moments.
It would be just like that. Excuse me. I have a student, my friend, very good friend. I don't know if I should tell his name. He, long time ago, he was enjoying something very beautiful herb. And then herb, some beautiful herb. So then he was walking from where he was to the car, which is like maybe 3 or 4 steps. But it took him like 15 minutes because his experience was swimming. He was swimming in the air, He was like slowly swimming in the air and then finally got to the car and get in the car. So you can see our mind and its perception changes the whole experience of the world outside. This on the Sanjik Song Nado. Therefore, Buddha said, Sem Chikbu Gena Chusu Cho Sabar Gyo, Sem Chik Chimu Megena, Chusu Cho Sabar Yang Megyo.
If the mind alone is virtuous, then all phenomena in their totality will be virtuous. If just the one mind, the originator, is non-virtuous, then all phenomena in their totality will be non-virtuous. Lasso? Lasso? So we can adapt the text of that verse to make a very harmonious point here. We can say, if the mind alone is joyful, then all phenomena in their totality will be joyful. If just the one mind, the originator, is woeful or is not joyful, then no phenomena will be joyful. Lasso? And so this is an important point to keep in mind, especially when facing adverse conditions or negative conditions. If in the face of experiencing negative conditions, we can stay relaxed within our mind, stay calm and at ease or at peace within our mind, and connect with wellness in our mind by connecting with the mind's nature, then no matter how many or how intense the negative conditions are, we will be able to overcome the suffering of our mind.
So,
3
semni nela jungse gombe jangs. 독숨 동화 휘어버릇이 바탕 세미나의 중세 겁나양 독숨 동화 휘어버릇이 그래서 휘어버릇이 바탕 치wen지 바다게 시제나서 시지나서 치wen지 바야 쇼르지 쇼르지나 너바 현다 너바 현다 매경 지식 그 소리 너바 현다다 가와시고 시고 말해서
Lasso? The great master Lama Mipam said, by familiarizing ourselves even a little bit with the essential point of mind, sufferings connected to the three poisons will be eased. And even the fears of death will be pacified. Therefore, what need is there to speak of other types of harm? So even if we gain a little bit of familiarity with the essential point of mind or the true nature of mind, it will relax or bring to ease the sufferings that arise in connection with the kleshas, the disturbed mental states.
Our emotions. You know, we have lots of emotions, I think. Especially, for example, like in America, every 4 years there's a big emotion. You know, for everybody, every 4 years, one group of another, or so, one group every 4 years, one group of Americans threatening everyone that they will move to Canada. Anyway, Canada, 다 도성계 동화 가려야 나가는 짓을 흘렸지.
In any case, whatever sufferings we have in connection with the three poisons, they will be relaxed. Those sufferings will be loosened, lightened, by becoming even a little bit familiar with the true nature of mind. And fear will also be relaxed, will also be eased. And therefore, what need is there to mention whether or not we will be able to overcome other types of harm? Of course we will.
Anyway, 다 샘진네 간디질 공부를
How do we go about gaining familiarity with the essential point of mind?
샘진네 간디질라.
And what type of essential point of mind do we gain familiarity with?
In Mahamudra, we talk about the luminous clarity, emptiness, nature of mind. So the nature of mind is taught in Mahamudra and Dzogchen as luminous, ribe.
It is called the luminous mind. And so therefore we say luminous Mahamudra or luminous Dzogchen, the luminous great perfection. And so that with which we are to gain familiarity is the luminous true nature of mind.
Ordinary mind also we call that Amalji Shepa. And sometimes in Dzogchen, we call that a Rigpa. So we, that's what we try to familiarize with. So is that kind of nature mind taught to be luminosity, clarity, nature mind? Is that like something Tibetans made up? No. Is it something the crazy Indian yogis made up? No. You can find that in the Buddha's teaching.
Venerable Shariputra, the nature of the minds of the Bodhisattva Mahasattvas is luminosity.
Yes. So it's very clear. Okay. So that's it. I wanted to share Mahamudra teachings. I wanted to share the sources of these teachings. Just snippets or some examples of the sources of these teachings that you can trace back to Sutra. And Tantra, I don't think I need to do that because all the Tantra is Mahamudra, right? Most Tantric teachings are Mahamudra teachings. And so, as you may know, Mahamudra lineage in Tibet since Gampopa, then it is clarified very clearly into 3 types of Mahamudra. It wasn't that clear until Gampopa. It existed before, but not so, I don't know how you call it.
There was no strong distinction made.
So after Gampopa, it was very clearly distinguished that there is a Sutra, Mahamudra, Mantra, or Tantric Mahamudra, and then the essence Mahamudra. And that is clearly taught in Jamgon Kongtrul, the great treasury of knowledge. You can see in that.
Lasso? Sutra Mahamudra is described as a Mahamudra tradition that does not depend upon the rituals of secret mantra, does not depend upon abhishekas and the connected samayas and so forth, but rather directly introduces the true nature of mind in a manner which creates a type of secret pathway within the sutras.
And
if you ask, is this Sutra Mahamudra tradition connected to the Indian teachings? The answer is yes, it definitely is connected to the Indian teachings. For instance, in the text called the Commentary on the Tenfold Suchness, so there's a text called Tenfold Suchness, and this is a commentary on that. It says that the Sutra Mahamudra is the essence of Prajnaparamita ornamented by the instructions of the Guru. So the Sutra Mahamudra tradition is taught to be distinguished by three features. It is, in essence, the Prajnaparamita. It is harmonious with secret mantra, and its name is Mahamudra. Then in terms of the Tantric Mahamudra or the Mantra Mahamudra tradition, that is something that does not need to be described in detail here. It is the wisdom that arises from Abhisheka. It is called, in this context here, it is called the Mahamudra of bliss emptiness. So the pointing out instructions of this mantra Mahamudra tradition depend upon the sequential stages of the four Abhishekas. And thirdly, so we have discussed now the Sutra Mahamudra, Mantra Mahamudra. Thirdly, in terms of Mahamudra traditions, we have what is called Essence Mahamudra. And this tradition of Mahamudra, Essence Mahamudra, does not rely on the elaborations of either Sutra Mahamudra or Mantra Mahamudra, but rather in a situation where there is a guru endowed with supreme realization and a disciple endowed with supreme faith. The guru forcefully and directly, nakedly, brings down the Vajra wisdom and directly causes that to emerge in the mind stream of the student. Lasso? For example, and for an instantiation of this type of transmission, we can look to the example of Tilopa when he hit Naropa over the head with his flip-flop. And at that moment, Naropa experienced true realization. Lasso? Therefore, Mahamudra is transmitted by means of any one of these three traditions. And this way of Mahamudra is a way that provides an opportunity for us to realize the true nature of mind, and moreover, gain this realization in one lifetime and in one body. Such is the Mahamudra tradition. Lasso? Lasso? No matter what tradition of Mahamudra one follows, the key point, what it all leads down to in the end is dependent upon pointing out instructions. So if one is following the Sutra Mahamudra approach, one needs pointing out instruction to actually practice that. If one is following the mantra approach, one needs pointing out instructions to actually practice that. And if one is following the Essence Mahamudra approach, although I think that that's quite rare in the present day, but even still, if one were to follow that approach, one would need pointing out instructions in order to actually practice in that tradition.
이송다 라마한테 같이 보셨다.
And what this means then is that relying upon a qualified, authentic guru is very important.
이송장 단단되게 작전 강감의 낭도. 거 당벌을 가르쳐줬으나 창제 전부 땐도 매주장 가와 주진 라마 라크베 동아 순된 런던 나루파 간디 추진영은 내들 주서 송도와.
Lasso. And so therefore, in the Ganges Mahamudra, it is said, intelligent Naropa who endures hardship, respects the guru, and bears suffering. You who are fortunate, take this to heart.
Yes. That is the first verse in the Ganges Mahamudra. So what that is showing is what we need as a practitioner of Mahamudra. What qualifications do we need? And so that shows actually four things, right? 4 points. 가르땡도 까와체바, 까와체친스, 즉 라마 라큐바스 니체, 동화수연된게 숨, 런던스 시대, 로드탄.
Lesson. The 4 qualities being pointed to here are first, enduring hardship. Second, respecting the guru. Third, having patience or endurance. And fourth, being intelligent.
대son도 다 담보 까와체바 세트 가르스나 준주탄 담바시 고래서 송을.
In terms of enduring hardship, the main quality we need to have there is that of diligence, joyful diligence.
Yes. 라마의 규바스 되게 다 먹으시.
And the reference to respecting the guru points to the quality of devotion.
소바세 누가 소바세도 소바 고래서.
Lasso? And being patient in the face of suffering or having endurance in the face of suffering points to the quality of patience.
Patience, very important. Patience. Then the Lord then numbers to share up shade.
And then the quality of being intelligent points to the trait of prajna.
예송다 다 자격증 분야에 전개가 가서 말한 줄라 다 된적이 연대 시당 된 거라. 대단 된배 토네. 얘는 다 라마게 라마야고 때는 되게 담아주고.
Lasso? Therefore, we who are practitioners of Mahamudra need to possess all 4 of these qualities, and possessed of all 4 of these qualities, and bringing them to bear in our relationship with the guru, we rely upon the guru and practice the guru's Mahamudra instructions. Lasso? There is also a pointing out instruction by the Lord Gampopa, which I will now read to you. So just as a blessing, I will offer this to you.
감옥배상네 뇌줄라 모두직 자송 스타트 송사대 가르스나 네 로마 범무지요 달라.
So the Lord Gampopa gave pointing out instructions to a female disciple of his. And the pointing out instruction begins by Lord Gampopa saying, I will now give you a pointing out instruction.
저랑게 셰바 사승에와 대랑 주구이 로나메
Gampopa said, "Your own mind, vibrantly clear, is the Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya is nothing other than this."
저랑 기시바 사생에 와 대랑 주부인. Yeah.
Your own mind, vibrantly clear, that itself is the Dharmakaya.
다다랑 드네랑 하기를 됐잖아 양 셰발라 때배 사생에 녹바 데코나 주지구인.
공다름 제 양결시 승으로는 단다 배자 톱성.
다다랑 드네랑 하기를 됐잖아 양 셰발라 때배 사생에 녹바 데코나 주지구인.
Lasso. Lord Gampopa continues, "Even if you stand up from here right now and go sit down over there, if you look at your mind, you will see that it is vibrantly clear. That alone is the Dharmakaya."
얘네 양 캠들 치는 마도 데드 섬라 때배 사생에 자와 무송당 타워 논나 데코나 주구인.
If you go to your home and sit on your bed, then if you look at your mind, you will see that it is vibrantly clear and beyond identification. That alone is the Dharmakaya.
내가 내바 윤통대 깨찍sam이야 메네바 태양 주구인.
It doesn't abide for long. It doesn't abide even for a single moment. That too is the Dharmakaya.
셰바 초와라 견도 메타 메초와라 연den도 메타와. 치다는 독견 셰바 사생에 와 예수 죽게 오나 예시차로 됐잖아 개바 오마인 송스. 어게 연다 모나 담발라소스.
Do not regard the mind moving as a flaw. Do not regard its not moving as an advantage. In whatever state your mind is in, take certainty in this vibrantly clear mind. If you do so, enlightened wisdom will dawn. Then you will have truly become proficient. Thus are the instructions to the patroness from Ulka.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all. And I would like to thank the Tergar community for making such a wonderful year-long program for the interested practitioners around the world. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. I'm sure I speak for everybody, and certainly on behalf of Mingyur Rinpoche and the entire Tergar community. It's just an incredible blessing to have you with us. So thank you so much for taking the time. Also, just wanted to thank so many others who have helped here. Of course, we had Mitra Tyler Dewar, who with his wonderful translation, Leon, who was supporting behind the scenes on behalf of Nalanda Bodhi, and many people in the Tergar community who have been helping out. So Mikhail, Beth, who you met a few moments ago, all the translators who were working so hard these past couple hours, and the whole team at Tergar International, and Stephanie, who has been our chant leader and who is going to guide us in these final chants. So again, thank you so much, Rinpoche, and I hope you will return and continue to teach again sometime for our community.
We'll do the short dedication once in Tibetan and once in your own language. Sunam di tam che zik pani Topne nye pedranam pamjene. Kega chi balab drupayi. Si pe sole drowar drolowar sho. By this merit, may all attain omniscience and defeat the enemy wrongdoing. From the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of existence, may all beings be free.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much again, Rinpoche. It was a wonderful teaching, and thank you to Tyler and Leon and everyone behind the scenes. We have a few short announcements to make about some upcoming events. So we'd like to maybe get to some slides to show you before we let you go for the day. So next, if you're not a subscriber yet, we do highly recommend that you join Vajrayana Online. The site now features over 20 courses on Buddhist teachings under the guidance of Mingyur Rinpoche and our wonderful Tergar guides. And the courses that are live regularly feature small groups, live practice sessions, heart-to-heart sessions with instructor Tim Olmsted, a wonderful community forum, and you can schedule interviews with our instructors and guides to gain further clarity on the teachings and check in on your practice. So you can learn more about that at learning.tergar.org. And finally, Tergar International is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to transforming hearts and minds by making the ancient wisdom of meditation accessible to the modern world. Everything we do is motivated by our core purpose to help people live with boundless awareness, compassion, and wisdom. We rely on the generous support of donors like you to further our mission. Your contributions allow us to invest in new programs to help deepen students' experiences and innovative ways to make meditation training accessible anytime and anywhere. Thank you. So just at the last here, I want to say once again, a big thank you to Rinpoche, Dzogchen Ponlop Rinpoche, to Tyler, to Leon, to Cortland, to Stephanie, Mikkel, Jiva, Jenny, Leah, all the translators and everyone else behind the scenes, and all of you for taking the time to join us today for these precious teachings. Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you at another Tergar event. Bye-bye.